Is there anything?
He has Dark Confidant, and then because he's playing Stoneforge Mystic as well, he also has the equipment, so Batter Skull and that kind of stuff. So this would give him just a little bit of a boost in case he gets the whammy of taking 5 off of Batter Skull.
Looks like his
being
opponent
flipped
is on blue-black. Yes. So Owen leads.
So this looks like it's Czech pile actually. Yeah, Deathrite Shaman off of Badlands, and I saw a Brainstorm.
So what are we calling this without the deck
Czech
list?
pile.
Is that
It's the 4-color deck, everything but green.
Czech?
Yeah, indeed, pile. And then we see Him to Torok here from Owen. So let's see what this spikes. He'd love to get rid of the. Well, the Brainstorm was pretty good, but there's also Kolaghan's command in there that he'd love to hit. All right. Well,
Brainstorm and the second Deathrite.
Yeah. So I'm not positive. Oh, it's a scrub.
Him you back. Him you right back. Powerful.
All right. So regardless of how this Him goes, his opponent is up because of that Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah.
That's pretty big in this matchup.
A powerful card.
Liliana here would be another Him. Wow. Just no one has any cards in hand.
Yeah, but I still feel as though Mitchell is
Mitchell is
here.
way ahead in this game currently, absolutely. So he keeps Strix, so he gets rid of...
Sort of Kolaghan's command. And
that's not bad for... Oh, well.
Very nice.
Sick rip.
He has a Jace in his hand.
And I think he drew a Force off of that, so even if Owen was to play something like Liliana, the Veil, or the Last Hope, I think would be the best one.
There's 2 cards left or Force, and he's almost certainly going to force that.
Yep. No, I think Owen's actually okay with that. In this situation, this isn't, especially with that Fatal Push, I think Owen's completely satisfied with this board. And it looks like we have some Altered. Those do not look like they are FBB or Alpha Beta lands from Mr. Stephenson right there.
So it's fairly even right now, except Owen is hellbent. Well,
both players are hellbent,
so it's going to come down really.
Yeah, Owen's fine with this board state. I mean, he'd love to draw something like a Liliana or a Stoneforge. Deathrite Shaman would be great too. Thoughtseize is horrible.
Yeah. Ponder and a Bolt.
Ponder Bolt for Mitchell.
Very, very strong.
Owen looks like he's holding some white card. Plains, maybe.
Ooh, and a Leovold. Draw a land, play it, yeah, and then we get Leovold next turn, so plowing the...
Strix is going to look fine now, but...
Not ideal.
Thoughtseize, Bolt you. Wow, just Dome Owen for 5.
Oh, I haven't been paying enough attention to...
life totals. Yeah, I have no idea what the life totals are.
Ooh.
I know Owen just took 5, though. He got bolted in the Thoughtseize.
Owen appears to be really low. I keep making this this mistake of not paying enough attention to life totals, and it ends up being incredibly relevant.
All right, Deathrite Shaman followed up by him is actually, but it's going to get pushed. I'm not positive why he decided to do it like that, but 6 of one, half dozen of the other, I guess. Vindicate,
trigger,
good draw for Owen, and I think that leaves, him, Fatal Push, and then now a Ponder.
Ponder revealing Snapcaster.
Snap, Strix, I think?
Yeah. Looking at that, what are we, life total, maybe a life total discrepancy. I haven't been paying any attention to life total.
I think you stack this Snap, Strix, Snap, and just draw Snap and then pass, because then you can Snap Bolt or Snap Push if he feels so inclined to do either.
Oh, he missed his triggers. Okay.
Which trigger?
The
Leovold trigger.
Leovold triggers, yeah.
Okay.
He's just playing Snapcaster as a flash
Ambush Viper
there. Yeah, Ambush Viper. I had forgotten the name of the card, but yes.
Okay, well.
Jet, but no threat on it.
Yeah, that's game right there.
Yeah, and that's game. So Mitchell Stephenson has won a game here.
Hey, Brendan.
Whoops.
Brendan, will you check and see if Will has those deck lists? Will, if you can get the deck list for Owen Mitchell Stephenson.
You guys want to already?
Yeah. Yeah, Owen kind of got trounced there.
Yeah. So.
Is
I
that-
mean, I don't know. They ripped each other's hands apart,
Wow.
and then Mitchell did much. So it looks like. Did you catch a glance at what it was that he was boarding in?
Yeah, it looked like a Spell Pierce and something else. The reason I was commenting is because Mitch looked like almost open boarded to Owen and almost revealed the 2 cards that he was putting there. But I don't know. There's not really much to say about that first game. Mitch drew better than Owen did.
Yeah.
wasn't much to it. They shredded each other's hands, and then after going into top deck, Mitch drew spells and Owen didn't. Owen being on the play will be a pretty big deal. Mitch having that Deathrite Shaman active, or just in play, was a threat that Owen had to deal with. So if Owen can answer back likewise and start with the Deathrite Shaman and then follow it up with something like Turn 2 Lingering Souls or Dark Confidant, Owen will just be way ahead in this matchup.
It was pretty unfortunate that Mitchell was putting so much pressure on Owen that he had to throw his swords away to hit the.
Yeah, having to Swords Baleful Strix was definitely unfortunate for Owen, especially with that Leovold following it up. It was a unfortunate sequence.
I like Owen's playmat though. That's a very nice playmat.
It is good. So I'm pretty sure Czech Pile doesn't play Goyf, which means the only finisher, like quote-unquote big creature for Mitchell is going to be Leovold, which he probably plays maybe 3 of. 2 or 3. I guess we'll find out in a
I
second.
don't think it even needs big creatures.
All right, so
with Deathrite.
do you want Owen or...
Yeah, I'll take a look at Owen's.
So let's see. So with Mitch, he'll probably be bringing in Toxic Deluge, some number. He has 2 Toxic Deluge, 3 Diabolical Edict, 1 Spell Pierce, 2 Surgical Extraction, a Nihil Spell Bomb, a Blue Elemental Blast, a Hydro Blast, Red Elemental Blast, a Pyro Blast, and 2 Fluster Storms. I saw the Spell Pierce come in, and then the Deluges probably come in. I'm not entirely sure why Pierce brought in, probably to fight off the various hymns that he saw from Owen in Game 1,
Yeah.
would be my guess. And then not much other than that is really jumping out at me. Maybe a Diabolic Edict or so, because he also saw Stoneforge.
Owen has a relatively interesting board. There are a couple of cards that you could consider putting in. Rest in Peace, possibly. Although I doubt he'll do that. He has Surgical Extractions. That's possible to bring that in, although I don't think it does anything other than offer an incremental advantage. A single Collective Brutality, single Fleshbag Marauder, 2 Gideon of the Trials. I think Gideon of the Trials is an interesting card here. It doesn't get like Edicted or whatever. I'm not.
It does also just get eaten alive by a True Nemesis from Mitch, though. Both light totals are at 20. So we've seen Owen lead out on the play with Deathrite Shaman, which was immediately pushed by Mitchell, and now Owen has followed up with a Dark Confidant, which has, I believe, revealed a land. I'm not positive.
Liliana making him sack the Baleful Strix.
Why
so Liliana
isn't timer running? Timer isn't running because we're lazy. There is currently 39 minutes left on the clock, though.
Yeah, sorry. There's a lot of...
Yeah, both of these guys are
do,
playing at a very good pace. Owen is very proficient at this deck, and Mitchell also seems to have a pretty firm grasp of how this matchup's to be played, which is nice that this isn't a glacial pace. So it looks like Mitch is currently resolving a Brainstorm, and he just has an absolutely stacked hand. He's got Push, Brainstorm, Delta, 2, Leovolds, Ponder, 1 other card, and then he also brought in the Nihil Spellbomb, so I guess he disagreed with us, but I'm not entirely sure what that's there for other than just a cycling, something to keep on the table as an extra card in case of emergencies. Is that a Snapcaster Mage? Okay. Well, I don't know what Owen's hand is, but Mitch's hand is just absolutely stacked right now.
Yeah.
Probably fetch Bayou and then follow this up with a Leovold, or maybe probably Tropical Island. This is Liliana of the Veil.
Yeah, he's ticking Liliana up, discarding a Brainstorm.
Yeah, I can't imagine
Owen
that.
is discarding a fetch land.
Mitchell cares about that too much.
And he's
Gideon
resolving
of the
Gideon of the Trials, yep. So one thing about Gideon is that it doesn't get killed by Baleful Strix because all damage that would be, or it becomes indestructible or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Gideon here is not going to be used for a blocker. My guess... Actually, I really am not entirely sure.
Well, let's bring up Gideon in the trials,
Gideon's.
actually, so we can take a look at.
Make sure I know exactly what he does. I'm pretty sure his +1 prevents combat damage,
Which targeting
which is a target thing,
Leovold
which
is
isn't
not,
super
is not
good
ideal.
against Leovold. It's too small. All right, until your next turn, prevent all damage target permanent would deal. So that's not very good. And then it becomes a 4/4. So maybe this is just a finisher for him. When board parity stalls out, this is just a 4/4 that is hard to deal with.
I really don't like playing Leovold here. I mean, isn't he just going to get taxed by Liliana?
Yeah, but he gets a draw card off of it, and it deals with the Liliana. So yeah, I'll take 4 on the crackback, but he also has another Leovold in hand. So he basically just casts this Leovold to draw a card and destroy target Liliana. So I think it was actually a pretty good trade for Mitch. I don't like that Wasteland from Owen.
You don't think so?
I would have gone after the green source, because it's also a second blue source, so it cuts off True Name Nemesis, Jace.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also prevents him from casting Snapcaster Mage on a Brainstorm or something like that.
Of course, he's going to tap out for True Name if he plays True Name, right?
Yeah, for sure. I just would have gone after, like I said, would have gone after the green source because it's the second blue and it also prevents follow-up Leovold. As well as something like, even though it doesn't look like he's playing it, it also prevents a Sylvan Library from being cast from Mitchell.
He's in a fairly advantaged position here. Although
What did Owen get off of?
Pretty dry.
Off that Stoneforge?
Jet. He has Jet in play now.
Okay. Looks like we're holding up a snap push here from Mitch.
Yeah. Of course, push is not going to be able to kill Gideon of the Trials.
No, this is a very savvy play from Owen here, recognizing that he can suit up Gideon, as well as attacking with the Stoneforge. This is putting Mitch in an interesting situation, because he's going to lose his Snapcaster Mage if he elects to play it here.
Right.
I think it's very possible that Mitch just takes this on the chin, decides to take 5, and then instep just casts the Brainstorm that I think he has in his hand.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't have a Brainstorm.
Just taking 5 is very bad. I mean, he's
yeah, but this play isn't like significantly better. He just traded 2 cards for, I mean, basically nothing, especially since now there's a Dark Confidant following it up. I just would have preferred, because you're not really in danger of this life total, and he does play things like Colion's Command as well as Abrupt Decay to deal with that Jit.
He's looking at 3 hymns off of that ponder, so he'll elect to shuffle.
Shuffle, yeah. Okay, actually, I take that back. There are no Abrupt Decays in the list, but he has ways to deal with that Jit.
But does he have a way to deal with all 3 of these threats at once?
No, and that's why I would have liked to save the Snapcaster Mage, because if he wants to use the Jit to take down the Snapcaster Mage, I just would have wanted a little bit more information before just running it out there and trading it off for basically nothing at that point.
Yeah.
It's not a bad play, though.
He draws a land. He's in a very bad position here.
Yeah, Leovold followed up by Spellbomb. Yeah, this doesn't matter. Owen's just going to activate Gideon here, suited up with Jit, and attack. So
we're
that Swords to
reveal
Pleasure is very
yeah.
good. He may just elect to Swords it, actually.
Yeah,
I don't know. He really doesn't care about this Leovold.
Swordsing, he is able to put in a great deal of damage there.
I believe he draws and should discard off that hymn. The card that he just drew from the... Correct? Or did he elect not to draw? Is Leovold a May ability?
Let us look at Leovold. He could have missed it.
I believe he was supposed to draw and then discard both cards he had in his hand off of Leovold.
You may
draw a card. Okay, so he elected not to draw.
He isn't forced to. He's in an incredibly bad position here. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, this
that he
game
gets out
has
of it.
gone from bad to worse, and yeah, he's
and
just going to scoop it up.
So.
All right,
So we're up to 1-1 now.
yeah, and we've seen this matchup go kind of one way for one player, where both players on the play started off with Deathrite Shaman into Disruption, and were able to leverage the incremental advantage that initial Deathrite Shaman presented into a much larger advantage later in the game. And
so Owen has an interesting card in his board. I'm not even familiar with what it does. Kaya Ghost Assassin.
yeah, this is the Commander Planeswalker.
Conspiracy 2.
Conspiracy Planeswalker, yes. Yeah, this is an interesting one.
Is this card good? I don't know if it's good.
I've had several conversations with Owen. He seems to like it. He enjoys it in grindy affairs because it deals with stuff as well as its additional hand disruption. So it's a Liliana-esque effect where they discard and he gets to draw.
Yeah.
So later in the game, this is just card advantage. The downside of losing 2 life is made up by its -1 of gaining 2 life. But no, this card is... I don't think it's very good, but...
Yeah, it feels kind of like that Rise of the Eldrazi Sarkhan that never saw any play. Like, you look at it and you think, oh, that's cool. You know, it has 3 abilities and...
It does a lot of things, but
Yeah.
none of them are super good or impactful. It's one of those cards that it does a lot of things, but none of them it does well enough that you'd rather have it over other cards. Like for gaining life, you'd just much rather have Jite. Discarding cards, you'd rather have him, Gerald's
you can
Verdict.
tutor up Jite. But
Yeah,
I
you-
guess I don't know if you really need 2 Jites.
Liliana. Is he playing Liliana the Last Hope?
He doesn't...
Yeah, he has
he's playing a
one
one
in the main
Liliana,
deck.
The Last Hope. Let's take a look at that, because I can't remember what that card does.
Its +1 is target creature gets -2, -1. And the -2 is mill 2 or 3, and then return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And then its ultimate is you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, you get X number of zombie tokens, where X is 2 plus the number of zombies you control.
And it doesn't kill Deathrite.
Does not kill Deathrite. It does let you reuse your Deathrites, and this deck, Czech Pile, is incapable of beating the ultimate, as most decks are.
Okay, so I need to pay attention to the game in progress and mark this life total. Owen is getting hemmed. He's getting hemmed for...
But it is important to note that Mitchell played a land past, and Owen was able to sneak in a Deathrite before this hem came down. So this hem actually isn't super horrible for Owen, because it only took the land.
Unless it hit all his lands.
Well, hit a land into Vindicate, and he has Deathrite Shaman, and Mitch just fetched twice. So that Deathrite Shaman's 3 lands right there.
What I'm saying is, if he doesn't have a second land, then he's in a bad position, because Mitch could easily brainstorm, dig for something like Push, kill Deathrite Shaman, and then Owen is very far behind.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Are we going to see Owen needle Polluted Delta here?
Interesting.
Potentially try to brainstorm lock his opponent? Huh. Neat. You made any confirmation if that's what he named?
It's not preventing him from...
Did he name Delta?
Not preventing him from getting lands, but...
No, not at all. Preventing him from fetching is...
filtering.
Yeah.
But he's already behind, so, I mean, preventing him from filtering isn't as relevant as,
I don't know if Owen's actually behind on this board. I think he's semi-content with what's going on. I mean, he has, 3 cards in hand? He has Swords, Vindicate, and 1 other card. And Mitch is not really doing anything. He's still in the spinning the wheels phase.
Yeah. He's missing another land drop.
Yeah, that's...
he's swordsing a Strix. So.
Yeah, I'd say Owen has to hit a land on this next turn to remain in this game.
He's snapcastering.
Wow, Gideon and Vindicate. Wow, that was just brutal for Owen. Well, he has another Vindicate in hand, so...
Yep, there's our second land.
That was Liliana. Oh, wow, that was such a good hit.
Yeah.
Wow, and now Owen has just rocketed back into this game. Because there's nothing Mitch can do to kill this once it's on the board, outside of direct damage. So it's Deathrite, Shaman Stone. This is going to be a mad race for Owen to try to take this up and...
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Owen has... no, Owen has Toxic Deluge, so if he deluges here, then then he'll be in a good spot. But it looks like he didn't have a deluge. He drew his Caracas.
I mean, this is fine. He's going to tick up Liliana here. Because he doesn't have any creatures in his graveyard. He's going to tick up Liliana, one of the Death Rights, and then just pass. He does that for 2 more turns, and he wins if he ultimates Liliana. Because Mitch cannot beat that ultimate. And that ultimate will outrace these Death Right Shamans too. So, and Mitch has, what, a lone Snapcaster Mage, which in this case represents a Brainstorm? Oh, well. That Kolaghan's Command was a big deal for Mitch, but still not.
Yeah, that makes his Brainstorm way better. Kolaghan's Command, kill your Pithing Needle and your Deathrite. I guess what he would want to do is, and I would probably just hang on to that Snapcaster, right? Because he can Kolaghan's Command. You can Snapcaster Kolaghan's Command next turn, also.
Yeah.
Kill his Needle, kill his Deathrite, hit Liliana for 1.
I don't even know if Mitch needs to make a play this turn. He could probably just pass. Yeah.
Well, there you go, yeah.
Owen's going to try to bait him to doing something. Now this signals to Owen that Mitch is planning on using his mana on his turn. Otherwise, there's no reason not to use one of the Death Rights there.
He's drawn a land. He's drawn a nice black-bordered dual land.
Yeah, it looks like a scrub land. Interesting again that Mitch just decided to let that go through. And he actually just elected to make Owen discard. Huh.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with life totals.
I'm not entirely sure why Mitch decided not to cast Snapcaster Mage on that end step.
Yeah, tracking life totals is something I've given up on.
Yeah, I have no idea what the life totals are in this game.
I can't. Really cannot.
GTA was a pretty good draw for Owen. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a creature.
I'm having a hard enough time remembering all the options that each of these players could potentially do. And he appears to be Snapcastering the Kolaghan's Command.
It appears to be a discard return Baleful Strix. Or return Snapcaster Mage?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Bolt your Liliana.
I would have liked to see a Ponder there first.
Bolt your Liliana. Yeah, Owen's in a very bad position here, I think. He is
Toxic Deluge here would be great, though.
It would.
I don't actually think Owen... I think Owen is still above 15, because he spent so much of this past couple turns trying to deal with that Liliana. I don't think Owen's actually taking any damage. Man, this game is just taking several pretty big swings.
Ponder from Mitchell, and he'll send them back and shuffle. He's in.
So Owen is digging to 1 Toxic Deluge, 2 Lingering Souls.
Well, Lingering Souls isn't even particularly that good because he doesn't have the
gums up the
ability
board.
Well, he doesn't have the ability to flash it back, so it doesn't. It doesn't put him ahead. It doesn't even really catch him up. It sort of just. It doesn't even buy him a full turn.
Yeah, I guess Owen does only have 4 lands in play, so we can't even play it and flash it back. Yeah, this is not looking good for Owen Watson, the hometown hero here.
I mean, there really aren't a ton of options that he has here. If
yeah, it's Deluge or bust.
He has to draw Deluge, and then he has to draw something particularly juicy following up the Deluge immediately.
Probably Deluge followed by Stoneforge Mystic. Getting Batterskull, I think, would probably be his best set of back-to-back top decks. Maybe Liliana of the Veil.
But see, this is what I was talking about earlier. Owen, I felt like Owen was drastically behind because of his lack of resources, and he wasn't able to commit things to the board. And then he got some of those resources hemmed away. So I think if he had another land,
Owen's just going to pack it in here.
Vindicated something. If he had been able to cast that Gideon, I think he would have been in a better position.
No, I definitely agree. Owen missing those several land drops in a row there was bad. I didn't think it was super detrimental. I think the big moment that it really came down to was Mitchell finding that Kolaghan's command while he had the Snapcaster Mage still in hand.
Yeah.
Those back-to-back turns of Kolaghan's commanding was just absolutely brutal for Owen.
I don't know, I like Owen's deck, but I mean, we go back to the strength of Brainstorm in the format in conjunction